symbols used to perform some special operations. Like we have so many symbols. Every day we use the symbols. Even if you don't know, you can try. This is for addition. This will be for, you can see the scenarios. I will just use every symbol with one purpose. You can see that every operator I'm using for some purpose only. Okay, equal to. Something like, okay, not exactly this, OTP. Entered OTP is equal to actual OTP. The purpose you can understand. If you want to change your marks by adding 5 to it, we are using this symbol. If you want to check before debiting, to get some money from the bank, we have to check debit amount should be available in the account. So we have to check, is it less than the balance amount or not? Only then we can do some debit on this. So what are we doing for checking the amount? Comparison, less than comparison. Same way, if I have to assign some marks to you, I'm allotting 25 to you as a score. So I will take score is equal to symbol and 25. So by this, 25 is stored in this variable called score right now. Same way, double equal to. So double equal to, when I'm using generally OTP login. Whenever you try to log into some apps, we just try to match the actual OTP with the entered OTP. Both matches, your transaction is successful, right? So like this, we have a lot of symbols. Every symbol has a purpose for some operation only. And that's why we call it as operators, right? And we can understand that there are categories of operators like arithmetic only for computational purposes. So for some calculations or computations, we can go for the arithmetic operators. Like I want to find the simple interest. So what should I do for simple interest? What I need to use, which symbols are used in this formula? For any computation, calculations, we use symbols. Which symbols are used in the formula for calculation of simple interest?
Yes.
We have something, no? What will we do with these three? There's a formula, no? What is the formula for finding simple interest?
Okay.
Principal into rate of interest
Into time, period
by
of time
100.
by 100. So you can see that I have used only two symbols here, two types of symbols, multiplication symbol and division symbol. So for any formula, like area of a rectangle, already we use for circle also with some formulas. So what will I use here as length into breadth? Again, for this computation, we are using a symbol multiplication. Same way, if I say perimeter of rectangle. So again, we are using some formulas here. So any calculation, we want to convert kilometers to meters, we will use some formula. To convert degree centigrades to Fahrenheit, there is a formula. So for everything, do we have a formula or not? So for any calculations, mathematical calculations, we use which operators? Arithmetic. And in arithmetic, we have only categories like two various categories, we can say the multiplication, division, and modular symbol. And the second category is plus and minus. So I'm putting it down because this is lower precedent. It will be performed later. If you combine all these symbols, first these symbols will be solved and then these symbols will be solved. So this is called as precedence. Precedence of operators. So whenever we have an expression using more operators, we have to solve it according to their precedence right now. So 2 plus 5 into 6. If I write this expression, It has two arithmetic operators, but we'll not just solve 2 plus 5. We will solve instead 30 and then add 2 to this. Then we'll get an answer as 32. But if I solve from left side, if I solve this operator first, we'll get 7 into 6 as 48. But which is the correct answer mathematically? 32. Because according to the BODMAS rule, this should be done first and then only plus can be evaluated. So there is a proper systematic way to solve every mathematical expression. We can't just blindly solve whatever you like. There is an order of operators. So that order is called as precedence of operators. So among arithmetic, these are higher than these two. So this will be solved first, then we'll get an answer as 30, and then we'll just do the addition of 32, right? Any confusion till here? This is precedence. There is one more concept called as associativity. So when should I talk about associativity is in an expression, if you have equal priority operators, more than one operator of the same priority. Now, plus and minus are equal. There's no difference in the priority. Now, should I do this one? Should I do this one? Or should I do this one? Actually, answer is same. But computer will process the instruction in an order. So, should I go from left to right or should I go from right to left? So, this concept of evaluation is called as associativity. So, when you look at the computer, anything we evaluate is always generally going from left to right. Most of the operators will go from right to left. See, otherwise we'll get wrong answers. Everybody should follow some standard rules. So evaluation rules for arithmetic is always left to right. Means which one I should solve first? This is solved automatically first. After that, this answer is added with which answer or subtracted with this answer. Finally, what will we do? The whole answer is added with 6. This is the association law. We will not do the addition of these, then these, then these. It's not like that. So it's not doing additions first and finally the subtraction. It is always going to solve the expressions from left to right side in arithmetic. This is called as associativity. Clear? So when should I go for associativity concept? When similar operators are used. Then we have to talk about either left to right or right to left, depends upon the operators. For arithmetic, it is always left to right. And when should we talk about precedence of operators? When we have different types of operators. Then solve it according to the precedence. Okay, is that clear? Any confusion?
No, ma'am.
So this is only for calculations. Anything a formula, a plus b whole square, there's a formula. Anything you say, we have a formula. Next is relational operator. So these operators are used for comparisons. Just a simple word, comparisons of two quantities. Two values can be compared with this symbol right now. So like less than, equal to, greater than, equal to. These are first category of operators. And below this, we have the second category called as equality or non-equality. This is for equality and this is for not equality. So this is having higher priority than equality and non-equality. And what is the purpose of relational operator? It compares the left expression with the right expression, left quantity with the right quantity. So using this operator, we are comparing less than comparison. So we have different comparison operators. And on comparison, it returns either true or false. That means which expressions it's returning? Boolean expressions. So relational operator always gives a Boolean value as an output. So we can just do some programs based on this for a person to apply for some exam, or if you want to get some grade, or employees scoring is done, or anything in your company, you're giving a ratings right now. So if your total test score was more than or equal to 65, you're given some grade as A grade right now. So for that, What should be the test score compared as? Your score is compared against which number? 25. So if your score is more than or equal to 65, immediately you'll get a grade of A, right? So here comparison is greater than comparison. Similarly, we can go for something like for some games, maybe for some game one, they are looking for the people whose age is less than or equal to 12. So those people whose age is less than 12 only are applicable for this game. So they would set some criteria. Okay, for some company drive, there is a drive going on. In that, they are selecting only the CSE students. So those students whose stream is equal to which stream right now? CSC. So what should be done? They are shortlisted. So here we are comparing with which symbol? Equality. If the stream of the person is nothing but CSC, they'll be shortlisted for that drive. So comparison, just like a weighing machine. Are they same? Is the first one less or is the first one more? So we can either go for less or more comparison, or we can go for equality or non-equality comparison. So in real time, many locations will see this concept. Okay. So for this, I'll be sending the assignment sheets in that already different real-time scenarios are given. You can start coding for that actually. Now, let us say if I give one small question. I have a bottle of capacity 1000 ml, right? This is ml right now. And can I fill a water of 450 in that or not? How will I take a decision? Means user will enter the value. I don't know what amount of water they are going to fill in that. So how will I decide? Will I water is filled in the bottle or it is wasted? Something has spilled out of the bottle. If I don't know how much water the user is entering, maybe he will enter 800 ml, or they may enter some 1500 ml bottle directly on the water directly in this bottle. So will it be a success or will be some wastage here?
There will be some wastage.
So at which scenarios there won't be any wastage? When can I say there is no wastage?
Fill is less than capacity.
Fill is
Less than
the
capacity.
or equal to capacity. Exactly same, but it should not exceed that. Then only the wastage will be there. So that means we will do some decision making coding when we learn next chapter is the decision making. So we'll check is the fill quantity less than or this. Then I'll give this message on the screen. Otherwise, we can go for the else message saying that a wastage of water is wasted, right? So lot of sick companies, industries, they'll do a lot of readings there. So when they're doing some executions, they'll do some settings. Maybe the temperature they have to set. So whenever somebody is setting the temperature, the machine should already have some warning temperature. It should always check whenever somebody is trying to increase the temperature. So if you're already the temperature is set to 12 degrees, and if somebody is trying to increase the temperature to some 50 degrees, by mistake, by accidentally they applied plus 15 on it. So should it increase the temperature or it should check and increase the temperature? It should not exceed 36 actually. If you want the system should not exceed which value? 36 degrees. So what should I do in this particular calculation? I have to always check is the temperature less than 36 or not. Which temperature? The increased temperature. Don't change the temperature initially. I will only change the temperature if I check that if the current temperature after adding this value, whatever temperature you are adding some value here, it should not exceed which value? 36. If the current temperature after adding 24, if it is less than or equal to 36, only then, or maybe saying less than 36, only then what should we do? The temperature should be increased by this incremental temperature. So we'll be a lot of times we'll be checking, debiting, crediting. Crediting, there is a logic. We can't credit whatever amount you like. Can I credit 5 lakhs in one day in a savings bank directly without any PAN number? Can we
No.
credit huge amounts? No. So what will the system do if you try to credit? It will check.
It will give a trigger warning sound
Yes. So
and message.
is the credit more than 1 lakh? We'll say a message. Enter your PAN number, not valid, or some message, failure message. Okay. So like this, in lifetime, any application we use. Now there is a phone pay. If you are using the phone pay, while login, we have to press always the login password,
Login
PIN
password.
number. So while typing, if it's wrong, if actual was 1889 and you by mistake press this, will it log in or will it say, okay, invalid password, PIN? So here both should be matched. If they are matching, you'll enter into the app. Otherwise, you'll be outside the app only, right? So everywhere we'll be going for comparisons in every application. Whatever you do, there is a check. See, simple thing is your remote also. TV remote, if you have a volume concept, can you keep on pressing on plus plus here, that up button? Can you keep on increasing the volume any number of times you like?
No, ma'am.
So once it reaches 30, does that up arrow button function or it will stop?
It will stop.
So that means how long we can increase this as long as the volume is less than
30.
30. Then only the increment will take place. So in real time, we have a lot of scenarios where we are going to use any of these relational operators. Okay. And this is higher when compared to these symbols. This is for equality comparison. This is for non-equality. Sometimes we want to do something when both the information is same. Sometimes we are interested to do something when the information is not same. Just like cart. If you have a shopping cart, you're adding a product. Whenever you add a product, it will check in the list. Is that product already there in the cart? If it's already there, it will not add as a new item. It will add increase the quantity of that item. So if the product is not in the list, not equal to, not found in the list, we'll add as a new item in the bin. Otherwise, increase the quantity. So we'll use the symbols in real time. One simple example, like leap year, if I have to say, generally, which years we can say as leap year? Simple concept. If a year is divisible by 4 and gives the exact reminder as, see, the symbol is for the reminders. When I divide a number by 4, it will only check its reminder, not the quotient, right? See, if I say 5 by 2, we'll get an answer as 2, not the reminder. It won't do 2.5 division. And if I say 5 mod of 2, it will give the reminder on division with 2. So when you divide 5 by 2, the remainder left is 1. So in a lot of scenarios, we'll be interested in reminders, even numbers, factors, divisibility tests. Everywhere we'll go for reminder checking only. Perfect numbers. So a lot of things we'll check with the reminder. Is the reminder 0 or not? If reminder is not 0, it's not perfectly divisible. So for leap year test also, if an year is perfectly divisible by 4, I can say such an year is, maybe I'll divide with a century. Divide any year with 400. If it's perfectly divisible, I can directly say the answer as it's definitely a leap year only, right? 2000. 2000 divided by 400. You'll get an answer as 0. So it's a leap year. But for non-centuries, means at least we can check the centuries with which division? By mod of 400. If it's perfectly divisible by 400, that century is definitely a leap year only, like 2000 or 1900. If you see this, if it's not divisible by 400 perfectly, it's not a leap year, right? But this is a leap year. If I say 24, 2400 years, that's also a leap year, right? Is that clear? So we have to solve a lot of questions. Today I'll send the assignment sheet where we have such questions, a lot of such simple questions are there. Any confusion about comparison operators?
No, ma'am.
Third one is logical. Logical operators. Logical operators are also used for comparison, but comparison of only the Boolean values. It will only talk about the comparison of Boolean expressions, not normal values. This comparison operator was comparing any information but of similar data type. Two quantities of exactly the similar type of data. So two numbers can be compared, two strings can be compared, two floats can be compared. But here in the logical one, we are only going to compare which data? Boolean data. And how are we going to generate the Boolean data generally? Directly, we are not writing always like this. True and a true. Logical operators are like so logical operators are like, we can say double AND, or we have a NOT operator, and the last one is OR operator. These are all logical operators. So logical operators will only look at the Boolean expressions. When I say AND operator, if expression 1 and expression 2 both are true, your final answer is given as true. So logical operator will basically compare only Boolean expressions and also returns a Boolean value only. This is returning Boolean's value. Now same way, if I say OR operator, if I say true or false or anything, the answer is true here. But for the AND operator, if both are true, only it's true. If it says true and a false, we'll get an answer as false. If both are false also, it's given as false only. But for OR operator, any one true or both are true is enough. If both are true, also it is a true answer. Only when it is giving as a false is when both are false. It will give as a false answer. And for NOT operation, it's a unary operator, and we'll just use one expression here. If it is true, it's like not true. Not true means what is the answer? False here. If I say not false, the answer would be taken as true. So when will I use these operators is not directly comparing true and true. But how will I get true and a true answers is with relational comparisons. Just like for an interview criteria, they're checking the stream should be of CSC type. They're only selecting the CSC students, and their percent should also be more than or equal to 65. So then we are getting a message saying that shortlisted for the TCS round. Okay, something like this. So here, how many criteria we are giving? The stream is checked first. Is the stream CSC stream or not? And second, what are we comparing? Percentage also. So two things are compared. And if this answer is true, if this is given as true, and this also is given as true, then only we'll take it as finally what is answer? True here. Because it's having which operator? AND operator. So for AND, how many ever conditions are given here? The first condition and the second condition must evaluate to true. Then only the final answer will be given as true for you. Right? Same way, if I say I want to shortlist all CSCs or all stream students whose score is more than or equal to 65, means they are from any stream, then they are shortlisted for the TCS right now. So if this is the scenario, is it mandatory that we are selecting only CSC for 65 or all CSCs with any score or all branches with 65 and above? Should every student be a CSC right now? Is it mandatory or it can be CSC? Otherwise, their score should be matching. Somebody can be CSC and as well as 65 score. That also is satisfied. But if the person is simply CSC, they will not check his score. And if the person is not on CSC, they'll check their score. Right? So here we are giving an optional value, or either this or this should be true. Both also can be true, but at least minimum is one should be true. But when I use AND, both must be true. If anyone is false, it's giving a false answer. But here, anyone is true, it's enough. Clear? Any confusion? Any confusion till here?
No, ma'am, please.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So now the last one is not. Not we are going to use for negate. So I want all these other students. If this is the criteria for TCS, I want remaining all students should go for the Infosys, let us say. So I have given this listed students will go for TCS. Now, who are not these criteria? Not should be put in front of that expression. Who are not CSC and more than 65. They are all applicable for which company, right? Infosys right now. Clear? So just by writing not in front of an expression, if it is true, we are not selecting. If that is false, we are selecting that. So not true for this criteria, only then we are going for this company. So not is a unary operator. So in operators, we can find three categories: unary, binary, and ternary. This will consist of only one operand. This will consist of two operands, and this will consist of three operands. But the unary is always higher than the binary, precedence wise, and binary is also always higher than the ternary. So unary operators, we have few operators only as unary. This is not. We have plus plus or minus minus, or we have something like arithmetic with assignment, something like minus equal to, multiplication equal to, something like this. And we have another bitwise operator called complement. So definitely these will be found higher than the remaining other operators, binary or ternary. So these are the set of unary operators. Binary we can talk like plus, minus, or whatever arithmetic, all arithmetic, and comparison like this, less than or equal to, double equal to, all those are the binary expressions, binary operators, and then double AND, that means logical AND, or both are the binary operators. So like this we have bitwise AND, bitwise OR. So we have some operators here which are the binary. So these will include two operands here. The third one is that means the ternary operator. So ternary operator has only one here. This is binary. In ternary, we'll talk about an expression, some condition, just something like A is less than B, a question mark, and we'll give two values, written either A value or B value. So the symbol for ternary operator is question mark, followed by two expressions with after and below the colon symbol. So we'll have a criteria, some condition here. If the condition is true, the first value is taken as an output or it's returned as a value. Otherwise, second value is taken as a value. So total, this operator has how many operands? Three operands. So this is ternary operator. So always these will be performed first when we combine these with the other kind of operators. And this is the last precedent out of all the three categories. Is this clear? Till here, any confusion? So tomorrow I'll discuss about the other operators briefly because we'll not spend a lot of time on these, and we'll be going for the bitwise operators. So once we finish this, tomorrow we can even start the chapter of decision making chapter. We'll try to finish these faster so that we can start with the actual topics of Java, that is object orientation. Because these are the same chapters which we learn in C language, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts still here? Any confusion? You have to type actually. Just go for the online compiler or in your system, type whatever we learned. See, you just have to see the answer. Write a main program and just type this in SOP. See the answer. See the answer of everything, right? So before
Yes,
you
ma'am.
take this, we have to take int here. Give some value. Once you give the value, write the print of this. If you want to see the answer, just you have to write like this, right? Only two lines inside the program. So just try to test everything 1-2 lines of code only we have to execute and check that. It's clear? Any
Yes,
doubts from today's session? All the three are clear with the concepts? Because we have to go fast to the actual topic. This is basics. This is what we learn every day in the BTech first year. Every year we learn these topics, right? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, upload this video. Will you upload
Yeah,
it
yeah.
now, ma'am?
Yeah. Upload. I'll upload it now itself.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.